Well, good Sunday evening, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend, everybody. We're talking about weather, red flag warnings, heat warnings in effect through tomorrow night, and it'll likely be the trend going forward for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if you have any vacation plans to wrap up summer this upcoming week, it's going to be more of the same. Just how you see right next to me, the high temperature today was 105, which is not normal. We should be stopping at 97 this time of year. That's average. So is the morning low of 76. Our morning low was 78 this morning. But the main takeaway was 105, which did tie a record set back in 2013 of 105. So it did not break the record, but it did tie it, which means 2023, at least this day in history, will go down in the books. Now, it's probably going to be the same for tomorrow and the next several days as we progress through this upcoming week. Now, before we get to what to expect and more of the same, right? And again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and talk about weather this week. If you're traveling, if you're going out of state or in state or across the country, again, let me know. We can always look at weather across the area and across the country. But more importantly, summer update. We're about a month and a half away into the end of summer or the onset of fall, which is around September 23rd, I think, this year. That's when the first day of fall and fall begins. So we're almost done. We're almost done, right? But not there yet. So look at this, 2023 total triple-digit days, 100 or hotter, 41 total days. Normal is 18 in a given average year. So we're way above normal. It's supposed to be hot this time of year, but not this hot. And last year was an incredible year as well. San Antonio specifically hit 100 or hotter 58 times. And that's actually second place in all-time history in the city's records. I believe it's 2009 where we hit 59 total days of triple-digit heat. And that is the all-time record. We're at 41. 59 is the all-time record. Last year was 58. So let's go back to that real quick, because a lot of folks always ask, like, when do we typically stop hitting triple digits? Well, average is around August 26th, so late August. But the latest we've ever seen a triple-digit day in the city, and for most spots across their area, South Central Texas, late September. And for San Antonio, it was September 28th, I believe, of 2021 or 2020, one of those years. But it just shows you that it can still get extremely hot in late September, even when fall starts. As a lot of you know, probably living here a long time, it's still hot through October and even sometimes through November. That's when it starts to really cool down and cold fronts start to move in our direction. Nationally, you can see it is a lot nicer anywhere north of Kansas, or at least in Kansas as well. Wichita is at 80 degrees, but anywhere from Southern California to Nevada, right? Las Vegas is always hot this time of year. Phoenix is at 109, Texas 90s at 9:30 at night, and this does extend basically into the southeast where Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama are seeing similar numbers as this heat high remains right overhead. And as a matter of fact, watch how it evolves over the next 5 to 10 days. This is Monday, this is Tuesday, we'll progress into Wednesday, and even Thursday and Friday. It moves back and forth between here, Mexico, the Gulf, and the southeast, and the desert southwest. So it's just going everywhere. The fact that we're kind of in the middle of that movement means that air temperatures are not going to take a break. Humidity continues to surge in from the Gulf. When you add in humidity on top of a very hot air temperature, it creates that spread between the heat index and the actual air temperature itself. So forecast highs are the red bar numbers, and the pink numbers right behind it are the forecasted heat indices, or the feels like temperature when you tag on that high humidity value. And in the blue box on each one of these forecast numbers are the daily records. Each day has a specific record. For example, tomorrow's record is 104. We're forecasting 104. So we'll likely tie that record, if not break it, if we hit 105. And some of these records, like for example, on Wednesday, August 9th, I'll zoom in and I'll show you right there. August 9th, Wednesday, the forecast high is 104, but the record high is 106. So we may not break or even tie that. But on days like Thursday, Friday, as highs reach 105, we'll likely tie if not maybe break some of those records. Not that we want to, but it's just the reality that it is extremely hot and we're challenging some of these long-standing records, which, by the way, some of them are from the 1950s, the 40s, and we're getting to that territory where it's not normal to see this kind of heat. It's supposed to be hot this time of year, but not this kind of heat, where temperatures are still in the 90s at this time of night. 95 in the city, 91 at Helotes, 94 at Calaveras Lake, 96 and more. Still 102 in Del Rio. It is still in the triple digits at 9:30 at night in our western counties. Valverde County towards Maverick County, Eagle Pass at 95 and 99 in Carrizo Springs. Good evening to everyone out there. It is a hot one. Now, earlier we talked about a couple things: fire weather, dangerous heat. And that's the story, right? That's the story for the next 7 days. So please avoid any outdoor burning, because with this kind of heat, humidity values will fluctuate. They'll go up and down, but with that fluctuation and that dry air kind of moving in from time to time and a gusty wind from the south, 10 to 20 miles an hour, creates extreme fire weather threats. And we've had a couple of fires spark off in the last 48 hours, one of which is in Hays County off I-35. I believe that's about 30% contained. We'll show you the exact location of that fire in just a moment. Tomorrow's yellow day. Conserve your energy tomorrow. Tomorrow's forecast up to 103, 104 for a forecast high. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Again, a red flag warning is in effect for tomorrow until 11 p.m. Wildfires that pop up, embers will jump from spot to spot very quickly with this very dry vegetation. The drought, the grass is so dry, has no moisture to it, so it just acts as, it's just a firebox. It just moves from spot to spot so fast, and that's what creates wildfires in an instant. So please avoid any outdoor burning. Don't throw lit cigarettes out the window. Don't drive over tall grass. Sometimes that friction can cause some sparks and create fires even along the highway. You'll sometimes see that in the summertime, where you'll just see smoke coming out from highways, and that's when fires start to erupt and start to spread very quickly. Okay, futurecast wind speeds. Take a look through tomorrow night. A little breezy, 10 to 15, and then some gusts near 20 to 25 miles an hour. It's mainly in the evening hours when it gets a little bit more breezy. Midweek, though, wind speeds increase a little bit, and forecast models are suggesting 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts starting Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Wednesday night, and likely through Thursday and Friday, which means the higher the wind speeds, the higher the forecast wind speeds, and the more heat that's around, it's going to create elevated fire weather threats. So again, please avoid any outdoor burning. Now, with that being said, we have a fire in southeastern Hays County. I'll have to update this, but this is just a forecast model, but it's right just north of I-35 between San Marcos and Kyle, to the west of I-35, again in southern and southeastern Hays County. You can probably see it every time you're driving northbound to Austin, and that's lowering the air quality, and firefighters are battling this, but just because of how large it is and the atmospheric conditions that's around, it is creating a dangerous environment and a conducive environment for fires to spread rapidly. So firefighters will continue to battle that. We'll continue to update you here on KENS 5. Otherwise, yeah, fall can't come fast enough, Art. I know. Waiting for the next cold front, our first cold front, right? Typically, cold fronts, they start moving in late September, early October. That's the average cold front timing in San Antonio. But even at that, they don't last very long. They'll cool you down for a couple days, maybe a day or two, and then it gets hot right, 48 hours later. But it's something, right? So again, late September, early October is when it typically starts to cool down. But consistently cool, I always say, is around November time, because it still gets hot in September and October. It's not really until like November things really start to trend back into the 80s and 70s for afternoon highs, and then the morning lows feel a lot better too. So we'll see how this year plays out. An evolving El Nino typically means cooler and wetter conditions in December, January, and February. It's obviously depending on how strong the El Nino pattern is in the Pacific Ocean, but we'll see what happens this upcoming winter. We're always looking forward to the next season, especially when you're at triple-digit heat so many times in a row in one given summer. So yeah, hello Ryan, waiting for the first major cold front of the season It's ridiculous hot in Cotulla. Yeah, Cotulla, anywhere, Cotulla, Carrizo Springs, anywhere down I-35 towards Laredo, it's that more desert-like heat, right? And it's, when you compare, drier heat to humid heat, it's a tough battle. I mean, between Corpus Christi and Laredo, the climate, the weather changes drastically. The farther you are inland, the less exposed humidity you have, and the less of a heat index you have, but the drier heat you have, and the air temperature gets actually hotter. That's why Laredo, Eagle Pass, Del Rio typically gets a higher air temperature than San Antonio and like George West and Beeville. Their air temperature will go about 4 to 5 degrees hotter than San Antonio's air temperature because of their proximity and their location from the Gulf and the moisture source and the humidity source. So it's typically more of a drier desert-like heat in Cotulla, Del Rio, Eagle Pass, and we're just kind of in the middle here in San Antonio near the Gulf of Mexico, which is where that humidity source is. Okay, we'll leave it on the forecast a little longer, y'all. It is gonna be a hot one. Please drink plenty of water. Have a bottle of water at arm's reach at all times because heat warnings are in effect for tomorrow, red flag warnings and heat advisories for other surrounding counties. Dangerous heat, 104 to 105 for the next 5 to 7 days. The coolest temperature we have is 103, and that's next Sunday. We'll see if that even verifies on this very toasty and hot pattern here in San Antonio. Winds will be moving between 10 and 30 miles an hour through the week, depending on the occasional wind gust. And again, that's going to elevate the fire threat, avoid any outdoor burning next 7 days because with drought, dry vegetation, dry grass, dry brush, it creates a very, very dangerous environment for fire weather. Be careful out there, be safe, find shade, stay in the AC as much as you can because it is dangerously hot outside for the next 7 days here in San Antonio. Have a wonderful night, guys. Hope you have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, and make it a great week as we progress into Monday.